Hey everyone, and welcome back to Silverrun Forest for the next episode in our Let's Play series. So we are now into March, and our first job will be to top up the chickens' feed with barley as they are running a little bit low. And then what we're going to do, we're going to take over 2 pallets of wool over to the spinnery, and then we have 2 pallets of fabric that we can then take to the boat yard. That will be then enough fabric for the current boat that's under construction to be built. And then what we're going to do is purchase the boat yard, and at 2 o'clock today we should be launching our first boat from the boat yard, so looking forward to that. So yeah, we'll get 1 more load of barley in, and that should then give us enough feed for the chickens to keep them going for a little bit. So then we'll get the pallet forks on and then get the wool over to the spinnery. Just went a little bit too far back then. So yeah, I skipped pretty much through, I can't remember where we were last time. January and February, I think I pretty much skipped straight through. I think it was in December last time. There wasn't a huge amount to do. All the productions were fully topped up. Nothing required anything really. So I wanted to try and get through to March so we can get the next crops in the ground. Okay, so we've got the 2 pallets of wool, which we'll just drop off. And so then there's 2 full pallets of fabric, which we'll take over to the boat yard. So the boat currently sat there, it just requires 600 litres of fabric to complete. So the 1,400 litres that will be left over will then go towards the next boat. We do need to deliver some more, I think, long planks, floor tiles for the next boat, because I don't think there's enough left in the storage for the first stage of the boat. So we'll have to top up that as well at some point. Okay, so let's get these delivered. Or sold, because they're technically buying it off us because we don't own it yet. So 12,909 for the 2 pallets of fabric, and if we go here somewhere, I know it's here somewhere, there we go. So we'll purchase the boat yard for $125,000, so it is now ours. So it'll start working through that last, 596 litres of fabric has already started going through that now. So here's the first boat, which shall be launched at 2 o'clock today. So we'll have to keep an eye on the time, make sure we come back over here so we can see the first boat being launched. It is looking very nice. So we've just got the sails to go on, and then that's all done. So it shouldn't take too long. So yeah, next job, what I'm going to do is get the tree planter on with the poplar pallet on the back. And I'm going to set a worker off planting the poplars. I'm going to have to keep an eye on it over the day as it goes between each different section, because obviously it won't transfer over, it'll probably stop at the end of each row once it's done. So I'm going to have to keep an eye on that, but I want to try and get all the poplars planted today. Actually, I'm just trying to think first. I'm not sure if poplars are affected by lime and fertiliser. I'm just thinking it's worth getting some lime spread on there first, just in case, because it doesn't currently have any. Yeah, it's not one of those things. I don't do poplars very often. On No Man's Land I put lime and fertiliser on, but I'm not sure actually how much of an effect it actually had. So yeah, I don't know whether to put some lime on first. Alright, so I decided to do the lime spreading first. As you can see, our saplings are now gone on to the first growth stage, which is quite a big transformation from when you plant them. It would be nice if there was like a growth stage in between, so it's not such a drastic change. So yeah, we're going to do the lime first. I'd say I'm not sure if it does affect poplars, but we'll do it anyway because it's not going to take much lime. For some reason this spreader doesn't use a huge amount. So yeah, we'll do the lime first, and I'm going to lease a stone picker and just pick all the stones, because I don't think we can roll with the mod I've got for no rolling all crops. I don't think we can actually roll poplars. So it's not something we want to do anyway, so we'll lease the stone picker and we can just pick all the stones up, and then we'll plant the poplars after that, or get a worker to anyway. Right, last little bit of lime to do, and that's the lime spreading all done on these sections. What I'm going to do is go and do the other new field that we plowed in last year. So I'll get the lime spread on that one, and then it'll be a case of we can then get that one sown with a crop. The other field doesn't need doing because we did that one before we put the last crop in, and that one's only been harvested once. So yeah, we'll go and get this other one done, and then we'll lease the stone picker, and then we can get the stones out of that field. I may also get some fertilizer spread on it as well before we plant the poplars. We also need to fertilize this field, and the grass I think still needs fertilizing as well. So yeah, I'll get this one done first, and then we can probably switch over to fertilizer, get that done, and then we'll do the stone picking. Okay, so the lime spreading is all done on the other new field, and also we've done all of the poplars. So next job is to get rid of the stones, and I'm going to lease the stone picker from Black Sheep Modding, so the slightly wider one, which is, I can find it, stone pickers, where is it? Where's stone pickers gone? There we go. Yeah, so that one's just slightly too narrow. If that one was 6 meters, we could have just used that one, and it would have been ideal for the strips we've got. These ones, obviously, we'd have to do multiple passes, which is just going to take too long. I know we're not going to make any money. Actually, I think that one's a little bit too wide. For some reason, I thought this was only 7. Yeah, as it's called Scorpio 7.1, 710, I thought it was 7.1, not 9.5. As that one's 5.5 and called 550. I don't know if that one's actually might be a little bit too wide. It'll fit, but it's going to be close. We've only got 10 meter spacing, so we haven't got much. So we're going to have to be dead on the centre of that. So we'll lease that anyway. I say, really, I should have just switched stones off for doing the poplars, and it would have saved us this job completely. But yeah, we'll use this, and we'll get rid of the stones. We'll then probably go around and scoop up the other piles of stones we've got and put in our tipper trailer and get those up to the iron furnace, the iron mine, so we can put them in the debris crusher up there. We're not going to make any money, in the leasing cost. This will probably far outweigh what we make. The only other option we've got is possibly putting a mod in that produces lime from stones, which, yeah, I'm not really overly fussed about doing. Also, after we spread the lime, I did come over with a spreader and put fertiliser on this field, and I went round and did the grass field and the barley field, so that's got its second layer of fertiliser on now. So we need to try and make sure we're kind of dead centre, and then, yeah, this is the problem. That's whether this is just going to be that a little bit too wide. Often, sometimes the collisions on things like this are slightly wider than the actual thing itself. Now I'm getting caught on that tree even though we're not touching it. So yeah, this might not be the best tool. I'd say I thought it was 7.1 meters when I looked at it, not 9.5. I didn't quite realise it was so wide. So yeah, this might not be an easy job to do. Yeah, we're going to keep getting caught up on every other tree. I almost done with the stone picking. Unfortunately, I did have to return the other one and get the slightly smaller one, which has meant I've had to go up each row twice. The other one just kept getting caught on every other tree and it was rather frustrating, so yeah, I switched it for this one. We've not got a huge amount of stones either. I think there was about 47 litres of stones in the other one when I returned it, so we've probably just got over 1,000 litres, which I say I wasn't expecting to get a lot of stones from it. It was more just to get rid of them, so when we do come to harvest the poplars, we're not going to cause unnecessary damage and wear to the poplar header. So we should never get stones again, because I don't intend on ever ploughing these fields again. So once they're planted up with poplars, they can just then continue to regrow. So it lasts a little bit to do. I'll just dump this 1,000 litres with a pole we've got at the main farm, and then I can pick up the tree planter as well and then get that over here. No, actually, I think before we do the poplars, I want to get the other field we spread lime on earlier. I want to get that one sown with oats. And then next time we can do some soybeans in the other field, or corn that we've got. Okay, so I've emptied the stone picker and I've returned that. So I say next job we'll put oats into the other new field next to the barley field, and then that'll just leave the field we had barley in last time. So we could do some more seed as well, actually. Yeah, so we'll get this refilled with seed. I don't think we've got any seed here. I think I used up the last of what we had for the grass. Not for the grass, for the barley. Yeah, so we'll go and get another bag of seed, and then we can get over to the new field, and then we'll get some oats sown into that field. Okay, seed topped up, so let's get the oats into our new field. Okay, so that is the oats all done for this year. So we'll get back to the yard now and get this dropped off. So with the other field we'll do next time, we'll either put corn or soybeans in that one, and then we can rotate between those three crops between the different fields. So if we get this one back, I think our next job for today, we do need to roll that field as well, which I'll probably do before we skip through to next month. So I won't do that now because there's a few things I want to try and get done. So I think the next job we'll do, I'll just quickly, once we drop this off, quickly just check the productions and check the old sawmill. I need to put that other entrance into this bit as well there, and then we can finish off the fencing around this yard area. So that's another job on the to-do list. So I'll drop that off. Oh yeah, what we need to do actually, I won't do the rolling yet. I just completely forgot we need to do the poplars. So we'll go and get a worker started on getting the poplars in. I'm gonna have to obviously keep check on the worker every so often, because I'm gonna need switching over to the next row. But we can at least go and get them started. I do have a problem with this as well. When we finished the saplings, I left the tree planter over by the store, And then when I reloaded into the game, for some reason the poplar pallet had been loaded onto the tree planter, and then the sapling pallet was left on the back. So yeah, it's just like auto loaded the poplar pallet on there for some reason when I reloaded into the game. So I've got that little pallet of saplings I can't put on here because there's no way of unloading the tree planter. So yeah, well, you can if you reset it. That's the only way I've found to unload it. Well, anyway, we're going to get a work started and then we can get on with the next job for today. Right, so we'll get the worker set off. We'll start him off on the longest rows and then work so it can work its way across. So if we, hopefully the collisions on the trees aren't going to cause any issues either. They shouldn't do. So we start that one off there. Press B to hire worker. Yeah, hopefully the trees aren't going to cause any issues and he's not going to turn around. So we'll have to see. It does look like it's going a little bit fast. I think I may have left the... yeah, I think he's just crashed into the fence and stopped. That's not a good start. Let's try this again. I may have had the speed limiter mod activated accidentally. We'll try and set him off again. Or set the worker off. Whether it's male or female. What I'll do is bring that one here. This is always the trouble with poplars, is when you've done the first row, you never know quite which way the worker is going to turn around at the top. So it may turn around the wrong way and come back down. Why am I getting... Oh yeah, this is one thing I always forget you need to do, is you need to turn stones off when doing poplars, or it does bring up large rocks, which then you can't get rid of. So we go options and stones, field stone off for this. That's one thing I completely forgot about. I had this issue on No Man's Land and it was a nightmare to get rid of the stones. So yeah, we've got some big stones, because if we come across with this stone picker, it just doesn't like it. Right, anyway, we'll leave the worker and I'm going to have to keep check on it every so often. What we do need to do is we'll just quickly check on the progress of the boat, which I think it's on the last, yeah, 84 litres of fabric, so it's not going to be far off being finished. So 2 o'clock today should be the first launch of the first boat from our boatyard. But what we really need to do is get up to the old sawmill, because it is all out of wood. The lodgepole pines that we planted up in Farmland 6 have now fully grown, so we can start harvesting those and get them over to the mill pond. Okay, so we're up at the old sawmill. I've got pretty much most of our forestry equipment up here. So what we're going to do is... what we need to do is just get a few trees cut down and get over into the mill pond. We've got a few just on the edge here we can get quite easy. So we probably can just cut those down and then drag them over the winch. Or get the tree harvesters to get these ones. So the lodgepole pines we all planted here, I can't remember how many we did exactly. They're all fully grown now. So as you can see, they're fully grown. 36.3 meters. So I did put this up here to use. I'm just trying to think now where it's probably better off to get those few on the edge first with this. Then we can get them straight into the mill pond. The yarder is still up here, I think. Or did I take it? I can't remember what I did with the yarder. Is it still up here? No. Well, I've completely lost what we did with the yarder. Do we still have the yarder? I didn't return it, did I? Just check. I thought we bought it last time. Forestry machines. No, forestry equipment. Yeah, we've still got it. Let me just show on map, because I thought it was still up here and set up. So, where actually is it? Oh, it's down there. I thought we'd used it up at the old sawmill since last time we used it down there. Unless I'm getting confused. I might have been getting confused with the live stream where we've got it set up here. Well, anyway, we will get some more tree saplings planted as well, because we need to replant the area around by the new fields. But for now we just need to get this topped up, as it's completely stopped production. We want to make the most of it and keep it running. So we'll get some of these trees dragged over and into the mill pond. Right, we'll leave the tree cutting for a little bit. I'm just going to get the skidder and I'm pushing the smaller bits that didn't quite go into the pond with the blade, so we can get those in, and we'll just see how much is in there. The workers still on the second row. It keeps stopping at the end of each row, so I may have to just go and do that myself, or try and set up like a course to get it done. Because yeah, at the end of each row it just stops and says it's finished when it obviously hasn't. So yeah, not sure what's quite going on with that. So that may be a job I'll just have to try and get done for next time myself, or either get course play enabled and try that. See if we can get it working that way. So we'll just push all these in with the blade, and then we'll see where we are in terms of how much wood's in there. So we should have more than enough trees on this area now to keep the sawmill going for a while. And what we'll do as well is we'll probably just replant as we go, so the new trees can start regrowing. But I do also want to get some obviously new trees planted on the land we've cleared down by the main yard area as well. So I doubt this will be enough to fill it, but it'll top it up anyway, keep it going. So we'll probably do next time is I'll probably get the yarder set up again, so then we can just drag some of the trees straight down into the pond from up there. For some reason as well, that Volvo, I don't know why, it just seemed a little bit more sluggish on these slight slopes than it normally does. The repair on it's not too low, so yeah, not sure what's going on with that as well. I was hoping to try and drop some of these trees on the bank so they could just roll down, but some of them went completely the wrong way, and then others that didn't roll anywhere. I should be able to take those ones, so we've got this last one to push in. So we'll just check on how much is in there. That should be enough to keep it going. I'll probably finish topping this up as well Let's try and get those poplars done for next time, so then we can move on to the next jobs. Well, there's enough in there. I'll probably do as well, I may just cut a few of these trees down and then just drag them over with the winch or the grapple of this to get them in there as well. Right, so let's just check on the progress of this, which is now 78,000, plus it's got those few logs still left to go in as well. So we're probably not actually far off full. So probably another 2 or 3 trees and that will be full. So there's plenty in there now to keep it going for the rest of this month and next month. So yeah, I think the next job and probably our last job for today will be to see our first boat launch from the boatyard. Okay, so we are down at the boatyard and we are just moments away from the first boat being launched for us. So we've got 6 minutes left. So it launches at 2 PM when it's on the day it's ready to go. So it does look very nice. Have a quick look around before it does go. So a very nice yacht boat. We're going to watch it sail off into the sunset. I don't know if it actually how far it sails off. It's one of those things. I know quite a few people have done videos on this already, seen it launch, but I've not actually watched any. So this will be the first time for myself watching it go. And there it goes. So the first boat from our boatyard here on Silverrun Forest. And into the water she goes. With a nice big splash. We should get paid momentarily. Oh, there we go. 180,000 for the first boat from our boatyard. And very nice it does look as well. Just get a nice screenshot before it sails off too far. So we should have christened it, but I wasn't expecting the boat to be ready this episode. I was going to do a thing in the chat asking people what they recommended for the name for the first boat. But it's already launched now, so... And there it goes. Hopefully the new owner will be happy with it. And production can now start on the next one, which is already underway. So wasting no time, they're straight onto the next boat. It's a shame they didn't have a system where once the first boat moves out to this section, that moves on to the next stage. The next boat already then starts production in here. Which I'm sure a real boat builders probably would do. Once that one's moved on to the next stage, they'd start work on the next one. But yeah, we do need to get some more products down here for the next boat. So we've got enough planks. We're short on wood beams, but only by 1 pallet. So we've got 5,000. It needs 5,700. Long planks. We're also a couple of thousand litres short. Or just over 2,000 litres, so we'll need to get a few pallets of long planks, wood beams, metal, we're fine, and then floor tiles we need about 7 pallets of floor tiles for the next boat. So we'll probably get those over here for next time and get those going as well. The worker I've completely given up on now for the worker for the poplars. It literally does 1 row and then stops. So I've had to set it off 4 times just to do this, and you can see it's got down to the end again and then stopped. So yeah, I'm going to have to probably do this myself. I don't know whether it's... Oh yeah, I'm not sure why it keeps stopping. It did the first section. So it's a case I'm just going to probably do it myself. It'll probably be easier. So we'll double plant these as well, so in between each row we'll get some more, so this will be just like solid poplars going across to maximise how many wood chips we get. So a bit like it is here, we've just literally completely filled it. Whereas usually the worker will leave a slight gap anyway. So yeah, it's going to probably take a while to get all this done, but I'll try and get it all done for next time, so they can start growing before we skip through to April. So yeah, our first boat has been launched. I don't know if it's disappeared yet or it's still sailing off. As I said, I wasn't expecting it to be ready today. I thought it was going to take a little bit longer. Has it disappeared now? Yeah, I think it's... Oh no, there is that it? I think that's it there as it goes off. So yeah, we'll get some more pallets down here so the next boat's got everything it needs. By the time it comes to need fabric, I say we'll have produced more than enough it needs from the spinnery. So we'll never be waiting for fabric, so the next boat should go from start to finish without really having to wait for any materials. As for the roller coaster, that's progressing nicely as well. It's got everything it needs. It's probably not far off going to the next stage. Oh, I think it has some point during this video gone to the next stage. So I presume it's still got everything it needs. I'll say with how much stuff shown on there, it doesn't show everything in storage, so I can only presume it's got what it needs. So we'll just have to keep an eye on that, make sure it's progressing, maybe get a few more pallets of barrels, buckets over here, tables and chairs as well, just to make sure we've got everything it requires. But for today's episode, we'll leave it there. I hope you have enjoyed it. We've got a bit more progress done, some new crops planted, started work on the poplars and re-topped up the old sawmill, and also saw our first boat launch from the boatyard. So yeah, I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, then please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Really do appreciate that. And if you've not yet subscribed to the channel and you've made it through this far in the video, then please do consider subscribing. I've got more Farm Simulator 22 content coming up with this series, the time-lapse series, and also the live streams as well once a week. So again, a big thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.